Hey everyone, this is episode 44 of Noodle Time. Welcome back. Here with me is, I like to say, the person that probably had the bunny planted at the Frisco game this past weekend. OSG, how's it going, OSG?
I forgot about that. I did see that on the big board at 1 second, and I was trying to find it when it was happening, and I couldn't find it, and then I forgot about it. That's crazy. I planted goal line technology, and then I got off the field as quick as possible. Is what I was doing with the bunnies.
No,
What's
yeah,
going on, man? I obviously you went to the game as well, man. So did you have a good time?
absolutely. It was my first time in Frisco, and it was definitely a trip I wanted to do for a long time. Obviously, championship grounds for Dynamo,
Yeah.
going way back, and definitely I had to be there for always. That's been like the big derby for us, and I finally got that done, and I felt that it was a pretty good performance to say the least because the goal we conceded. I like to talk about it when we review the game, but yeah, other than that, I'll just say it was pretty entertaining, especially for my first game. And if you guys don't know about the bunny, because I did see like a lot of people that watched the broadcast weren't sure about the bunny situation, but um, pretty much before the Dynamo scored the goal, or at least Thor did, there was like a bunny that was sitting on the sideline, like where in the side of Frisco's goal, and like if you had like a close eye in the game, you might have seen it. And we were like us in the stands, we were able to see it because we were on the side of that goal, and it was easier to see. And it was literally a bunny right there, just sitting in the end line, and Thor one just goes ahead in the set piece and scores, and and we went crazy obviously, and I started chanting like bunny, bunny, and I almost got it going because I did get a few people chanting that, but yeah, we just kept the vibes going, and it was pretty fun.
Dude, yeah, and I mean, and it was a good trip. It was a good trip. The Surge and El Batallon, and there was some Texian, and there might have been the other one, Mandanda. But it,
Bandera Negra.
yeah, yeah. But it looked like there's about 125 people there, so probably maybe less. Maybe that's a high number, but anyways, it was good. There was instruments, so there, it was a good fun party. There was those that rode the bus. I ended up choosing not to ride the bus, even though I did make an end up reservation. I planned on going, but man, they got back at four. Well, they ended up getting back at 3 o'clock, but the original plan was getting back at 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so I get off the bus at 4 o'clock in the morning, probably shit faced. My car's parked in a parking ride, and where am I going to go? I didn't have a place to stay for that night. I wasn't going to rent a hotel for fucking $100 to sleep for a couple hours and then get kicked out when I'm fucking drunk. I'd rather sleep a good one. So yeah, man, that didn't work. So I just ended up driving myself to Dallas and then driving back immediately after the game. And so I had fun. I kicked it with everybody. I hung out with Serge. Sabathia was right there with the music and keeping the chants going. And yeah, I saw you on the front row. Of course, you were in front of all the pictures that were taken by the
Yeah.
Dynamo. And, yeah, so front and row. But oh yeah, that reminds me. So old Noodle Time history right there. So you met up with Tony, huh?
No, yeah. So Tony, the previous co-host for Noodle Time, he lives in Dallas, specifically Garland, which is like about 30 minutes away from Frisco, and he let me stay at his place, which was pretty nice of him. And yeah, we definitely caught up for sure, and it was a great time nonetheless. It was part of the experience that I was able to stay at his place and just catch up when it comes to like Dynamo and Dash and Dynamo 2 stuff. And I know, yeah, it was a fun, like the whole experience really. And I know, yeah, like it was interesting because like he's been living in Dallas for a couple of years now. It's kind of like the same situation that I am in Austin, and yeah, we just like to follow the Dynamo from afar.
From afar. Yeah, that sucks. One day we'll get back home, right?
Right.
but 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 yeah, I got back. What did I get back home at? Let's shoot, 1 o'clock. I think. Yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning. So I got good timing. It was an easy drive back. And the drive even up there wasn't that bad. wasn't really with traffic. There was enough traffic just to keep a flow the whole way up there. So it was it was chill and it was okay. 1-1, so it wasn't like a sad drive, which I was really not looking forward to. But 1-1, late second. Uh, all right, but anyways, that made the trip fun. So it was fun either way. Away days are always the best. So can't wait for the next one, which is in 2 weeks in St. Louis. Anybody else y'all listening and you're not going, plan on going? Hey, you want to go? This is the one that a bunch of people are going to in St. Louis. So look us up.
Oh yeah, the search plan for that trip, and also we got the road trip against Austin FC. Well, it's a home game for us, but the Dynamo
Hey,
coming back to Austin in June, late June again. So it's definitely gonna be a good one. Hopefully, their first win in Austin, that would be pretty good. But yeah, in any case, this let's talk about road trips. More talk about Dynamo and Dash, unfortunately, and Dynamo 2. There's been a couple of positive results coming out of Dynamo and Dynamo 2, specifically Dynamo 2. We just finished watching the Dynamo 2 game. They were losing 2 to nothing in the first 70 minutes of the game, and Dynamo 2 tied it 2-2 in the second half. Then North Texas would find the third goal, and then Dynamo 2 would eventually find the equalizer again at the stoppage time in the second half, and they would also claim the extra points in the shootout. So we're going to talk about a little bit down the road, but we're going to go ahead and focus on the Dynamo first because they were the first ones to play last week. So we did get a couple derbies for Dynamo this past week. You may not know about the one from Minnesota, but that's like the at least known one because it's a Dylan Wolpers derby. And if you're not sure about the Dylan Wolpers derby, it's kind of a thing that we've been doing with Minnesota United for like a couple years now because doing a broadcast for a Open Cup game, I believe. His graphic because it was his birthday at the time. The graphic showing his name and the message saying like "Happy Birthday, Dylan Walpers." It just stuck on the screen for like 2 minutes, and it was hilarious because it was in the middle of the game and the graphic just stayed on the screen.
well,
And
be more specific because yeah, make it sound like at the games. That was the TV broadcast.
oh yeah, yeah,
So yeah, obviously it
yeah.
was stuck at the game with the TV broadcast. So me and you are watching the Open Cup game, and it gets stuck there while the game's going on. And like, oh. So yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
continue. Yeah, yeah.
No, yeah, yeah. Just picture like the game going on, and if you're watching on TV, it's literally just that graphic that says "Happy Birthday, Dylan Whoppers," and that just became a unofficial derby to say the least. And yeah, every single time we play Minnesota United, like that's brought up. So I never bring it up every single time because it's amazing. Like just how silly that derby is, and and yeah, it's unfortunately it was a sad derby for us because we did
Well,
lose 1-0. But yeah,
last year he told us or reminded me that he's lost count at how old he is now. Since because every game is happy birthday Dylan Whoppers, so like this year we're playing him three friggin' times, so he's gaining 3 years a minimum right now. Because what happens if we get him in Leagues Cup again? That's 4. Bro's getting old fast.
man,
So
my bank account is running low because of how many gifts I'm giving him already. But
no
yeah.
shoot, I know, right? It's crazy, but
No, yeah,
yeah.
and this game, it like I said, it was on the road. We did lose 1-0, and it was one of those games that it was very hard to watch. Not because we were playing bad, but because we were the goal we conceded. It was bad, but we had like the options to score, and unfortunately we didn't get one. And it's just one of those games with Ben Olsen that we're getting those opportunities or not creating enough or just conceding goals due to individual mistakes. And it was just annoying to watch, at least in my opinion.
Well, let's remind everybody that's the game that Hector Herrera and Amin Bassi were suspended for. So they were immediately out. And this is the second game that Hector Herrera has missed. And I like the first game. I was like, well, we were on the road. Here we are on the road again, though. We don't play well on the road. But when Ache Ache was missing, or when he does play and we were on the road, the team kind of played better together. And then when he wasn't there, they didn't play well together at all. It was kind of like this no numbers, like a what is that little square that the puzzle? But it looked like one of those without it being solved. So like that's what it looked like in this Minnesota game. Hector Herrera missing in the midfield, and they used Saucedo in the midfield, and then I think they started Quinones as in Bossi's place. Again, the Dynamo were missing their sync as a unit this time. They played well defensively on the back line, and I think those guys are going to be in sync for the rest of the year, no matter who plays over there. And Gasper's going to need to learn that, even though he's in the next game. But Gasper needs to learn that this team plays as a unit and they do pretty well together. And they just grind and fight. And if you give up a goal, it's like Foxtrot said, it's just going to be a little crappy goal, and the other team's going to get lucky or something. And boo, boo, boo. But road game, not enough fight, look bad. Again, no offense. What's the story? The Dynamo life this year.
No, yeah, and if there's offense, then it's just like a couple flashes, and we get a couple of goals. But our main issue right now it's the fact that we're not scoring enough goals to at least turn the tide. And like even though we've already seen, especially in this game, that they can create those chances from whatever they can get, it's still not enough. It's either that or they're like their chances that they're creating they're not going in the back of the net for some reason, and it's just like a little bit hard to explain because at this point it's one of those two situations that have been happening in those games that we just drop points, and I feel like this is what happened today, that game against Minnesota. And one of the things that you also mentioned, Quinones did start, and I did. I did like what I've seen from him, especially coming out of the past few games that he was available. Like I didn't think he was showing like a lot of promise, but this game, and I want to get to Quinones again, the game against FC Dallas. I thought it was pretty promising here compared to previous instances where we were able to see him.
Man, I liked what he was. Maybe I think he's starting to figure it out, or maybe they just sat him down and talked to him. It's like, hey, dude, 30 days. We're just kind of contemplating what we need to do. You haven't been doing this, and just kind of sat down and talked to him or whatever, and maybe let him know that hey, they're on the fence of whether they're going to buy him or just let him return back on his loan. And which is if you ask the fans right now, they'll say send his butt back, and unless he shows me something a little bit more. Yes, granted, yeah, he had a good game. He had some good showings. I like the way he attacks the defenders. I like his speed. You know, he can get some good crosses off. He's not afraid to shoot. So if he can show that he can consistently play that way, which, like I said, he's got 30 days or a month. I don't know when his contract is up, but if he can show something and show some of that promise that and what I don't know if the Dynamo watched him enough to really see what potential he has, but from the highlights that I guess they were given in the YouTube videos, we're going to say that's how they scout before the analytics team and our scouting network started. But he's got potential. He's cheap, so well, he's not too cheap, but he's cheap. But right now, yeah, I would just end up letting him go after that loan. But I like what he brings. So, but he's going to need to show his butt off a little bit more, and he's got a month to do it, and maybe Open Cup games whenever he gets his chance until it gets later on in the Open Cup when they just start playing the first teamers. And like when he comes off the bench for the first team in regular league games. So he's got the opportunity. Coach likes him, so it's up to him.
No, yeah, and his deal I believe it expires around July, and probably the first thing early July, and just going back to like the start of the season, it definitely he has a case for him to not come back to the first team after his loan expires. And even though like it started to show like he can do things very well or like started to adapt, it's kind of late at this point, and there's definitely a couple more options we have on the team to start or at least like half of the bench, and also pieces that we can either bring in for Dynamo 2 or just bring in a summer market, which is one of those things that Pat and Asher have been hinting a lot for a while now, or at least before the season started. And yeah, it's
Right.
just
It's
one
an automatic spot that opens back up. Right. Yeah.
right, and it also depends on how they want if they want to open up that designated player spot already, or just leave it until the end of the season to figure that out. But yeah, it's just one of those variables that they're gonna have to figure out and pretty soon. But but yeah, I don't know what else you want to add for this game because it was just boring to watch really, and this is one of those games that they just have to get it together. And obviously, we were missing the starters, Achiach and Basi. And typically, we play well, like at least at home, but like on the road, it just looked like that kind of performance, really, the usual one.
It was a typical Dynamo road performance, and when you're, I'm not even gonna say we're just a super defensive team with no attack. So I don't know what a good Pokemon reference, or how about a Yu-Gi-Oh reference? You're that one card that's got 0 attack and 3,000 defense and some wall or whatever. I don't know what it is, but it's like you all defense and 3,000. 3,000 is not the best in the world, so you can still get beat, and that's what's happening, and that's what happened here. I was like, I don't know. Overall, Minnesota was probably the better team in that game, anyways. Overall, but of course, missing Bossy and missing Hector Herrera was a huge piece. Both of those are in there. Would the story been different? Most likely, could have been. But we got to get better on the road, and I think Ben, just because of how we are losing every single game on the friggin' road, just being competitive is not enough right now. And if we're going to try to compete for the playoffs, he's going to have to push that envelope a little bit up. Like if you're on your FIFA and you're changing your controls from defense to attack, you're just raising that bar up a little bit more. And being a little more risque and just trying to be more creative and get us some opportunities, man. That's Wednesday.
No, yeah,
That's a,
no, yeah. So that was Wednesday, the Dylan Wolpers derby. Like I said, being a 1-0 loss on the road, and moving on to the next game,
well,
Saturday being
real,
the yeah.
real quick, Flasher. So the whole league was playing that day on Wednesday. So just a couple scores. I'm not going to go through the whole Wednesday nighter because there's just so many freaking games nowadays. But just some clear cut ones that just stood out while that was happening. Is Montreal finally lost again, but Cincinnati was the one who kicked their butts 3-0, and FC Dallas before this was the game before us coming to their house. They ended up beating Vancouver 2-1. And then let's see, I think there was a LAFC somehow tied Sporting KC. So Sporting KC is kind of confusing to me. I don't know, but since we still call them a rival, I guess I'll let y'all know how they did. And then I don't know how the hell this happened or who woke them up, but I mean it's not like they looked the best anyways. They just ended up winning the game. Austin beat friggin' Seattle. Went to Seattle and won 2-1. So I don't know how that would happen. I didn't pay too much attention to to how that I didn't watch that game or go back and watch the highlights or whatever just to see what Seattle did or get the synopsis or how they blew that one. But man, and they had a striker that scored. They haven't had a striker that scored. I think maybe Uridi. I don't know. So they were in the same boat as us. But so they beat us to it. Fuckers.
No, yeah, I did. Yeah, just as a side note, really, I did see that Seattle lost both of their games this week, like at home and on the road. So I'm like, where was this Seattle when we played them? Especially with 2 red cards. Like, come on. But
Yeah, for
but
real.
yeah, no, but yeah, just moving on to the Texas Derby on Saturday. It was definitely different. Not only because Achach and Basi came back from suspension, but also the fact that there's been a lot of changes in the starting lineup, and and
Oh,
just the main one
we
you can
we well, I can't even believe we skipped that from the Wednesday game. Because he played on friggin' Wednesday. How did we not even
yeah.
mention his? Yeah, yeah. So yeah, friggin' Aliyu, Ibrahim Aliyu. I can't even believe we forgot about his butt, and because 2 different games, and he had 2 different games in my opinion. So we should have talked about him in the Wednesday game and not talked about him in this one because that's really what happened. he was active in the what was it, the Wednesday game, and then Saturday I didn't. His performance was just okay. Yeah, just another guy, but it was, but it's okay. He seems like he's in on the coach's first team already. He came off the bench and then he got that start immediately, and I heard Baird kind of got yelled at after Wednesday's game, I believe, possibly. So or before that. So it's weird because it's weird what Ben's thinking half the time, and of course you never know what to believe. And so yeah, he got yelled at. Woo, okay, like I believe that. What for? Oh yeah, sure, whatever. But Bear didn't start. What was it? Yeah, Saturday. I don't even remember if he started Wednesday. So it's but Ibrahim Aliyu, I like what he did in the first game. He he had some a couple little highlights right there where he's making some moves. He did a little deke on himself where he deked the defender and just made a turn. Um, he had some a little couple opportunity, a couple little flashes, nothing that really stood out. And then now we go into Saturday against Frisco. He got the start and he played on the left wing. That's right, left wing, right? Or did he get the right wing?
So he got the left.
You got the left right, yeah, because Sebas got the actual start. Woo, yeah, I heard that right. Sorry, Sebas got the start on an interleague game against FC Dallas, our rival in Dallas. Somehow Sebas got a start, but so yeah, this game it I don't know if it's just striker to wing is different. Obviously, for Baird being a good example, he sucks at striker and he's okay at wing, and he actually does something on the wing. But as striker, I can't remember what he does. He defends and he runs around in circles. So what to do? But so to me, Leo or however you want to say his name. I'm not going to trust the announcers. I've never had to pronounce a foreign player's name, but he didn't stand out this game. He was given his opportunity. He was subbed off, I think, for Quinones, maybe for somebody else, maybe for Baird. But it's okay though. I'm okay with what I've seen for the first two starts, and you know, I'm not going to judge him yet and say yes, this dude's awesome, or no, what did we hell did we get this? There's another loss, and we bought this dude, so he ain't going nowhere. We got to keep him. It's kind of like the Sebas situation. We bought that dude, so he ain't going nowhere. Ain't nobody taking that.
Oh yeah, and I was actually gonna get into Aliyah first because Ibrahim he did start for this game against FC Dallas, and just to try and compare like both performances because he did play against Minnesota, like he did show like certain flashes, and I felt like he was pretty close to score in the game against Minnesota, and and compared to the game against FC Dallas, like he got pretty close, but I felt like it wasn't a, really his game, particularly in the second half, because he just looked like somewhat lost in the second half, and that was when Nestor Quinones came in and sub in for Ibrahim Aliyu, and you also mentioned that Corey Bear he did not start this game, and surprisingly,
Yeah, right.
and so yeah, Sebas they get the start as a striker here, and I mean Abasi did come in and start on the left, and yeah, Corey Bear did actually replace Amin Abbasi like at the 74th minute, and that's when Thor came in a little bit before Corey Bear was able to be subbed in. But yeah, this game, I felt the Dynamo. I felt like they controlled the game very well. Like I would say for a good chunk of the game, probably like 2/3 of the game, because defensively speaking, like I thought that Mikael and Ethan Barlow were doing a pretty good job. It's just that they distribution was pretty off, particularly from Ache because they were doing a lot of giveaways. I don't know if you remember from that game that Ache kept sending balls to either Franco like on the sideline, and he just kept missing the mark, and I was like, come on, so with the throw, we keep giving away throw-ins, keeping away the ball, and they did get a couple opportunities in, but they were not able to do much of anything aside from their goal that came in from a set piece, which is one of the things we still have to address because we look pretty uh, we look pretty weak in most set pieces, and they have to sort that out because dropping goals that way. And if it wasn't for Thor's goal, that would have been a mess.
Dude, set pieces, man. Set pieces is killing us. The defense has been stout, and it's something to is actually just standing out and making beyond more than what we expected the defense to play like this season. But come on, marking on a set piece. You have one job, and do you know who to blame this time? I know who to blame this time. Friggin' I know who to blame. Shoot. Work on your perm, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Coco, man, you got to stay with your friggin' man. You got to stay with your man, bro. Like, he let the dude free run. It was just a free run. Let the dude make a free run. And it was just a clear, obviously, easy header. And now you know what happens next. So, blah, blah, blah. But come on, you have one job on a set piece. I don't know why you fall asleep right there. You were sleeping for the 45 seconds it took to take the corner kick. Wake up.
Yeah, and while we're still talking about defense, we can definitely get into Chase Gasper because
Huh.
he's is currently on the bad side for all Dynamo fans. Well, at least almost all of them, for the wrong reasons. And look, he can get better over time, but currently it's not looking good. Particularly the fact that he's coming off a suspension in the Open Cup, and yeah, the way he defends, like, it's definitely questionable. And I feel like he somewhat improved compared to previous performances in the game against FC Dallas, but like he just kept doing fouls, and he got yellow carded, and the, there was an argument can be said that he could have gotten a red card again in the game against FC Dallas because one of the fouls had happened after the yellow card. And I know, yeah, it's just getting he's playing a dangerous game, honestly, and he's got to get his act together.
Dude, Gasper, bro. Gasper. What the heck is that? And why'd we spend the money to go get him? I mean, I know I don't know if it's just because we were shorthanded because we're not. Brad Smith was pretty close to being ready at the time when we went and got Gasper. So, and I mean, like pretty close. And obviously, it's pretty close because here Gasper's only got two starts. He's got a red card or two games. He's got a red card and a yellow card. So if that's how the law of averages says he's going to have a card every friggin' game now. Go away. I don't want you. I'd rather give Vanderkust a chance. Let's see what he can do on the first team in a regular game that when everything's just normal and that's a little attacking spark as well that's coming out of the back and he uses his speed to get back on defense. So maybe it'll work to his advantage up at the MLS level. So I'd like to see him up there. He is little, he's short. He's not very strong, but he uses his speed to his advantage. He knows how to use it. He gets the crosses off. He knows how to shoot. He's not afraid to shoot. Hence, when he scored it for a dose the previous week. So, but you still got Brad Smith, but Brad Smith's not been playing very well yet. So we're still expecting him to maybe come into form. And then the Escobar and Stairs experiment, I'm okay with it, but I think I'd rather have Escobar and Stairs just taking turns on the right side over there. Sorry, Dorsey, you're out or you need to figure something else out. And then let's. I don't know. I don't know. That's a question. Maybe it's a question for you. What do we do on the left side right there?
I don't know. At this point, it's just whatever sticks, because
Nothing sticking. But maybe okay.
right.
Maybe. What about Vanderkus? I don't know what your opinion is of the guy, or if you've seen enough of him to play. But what about him? Would you allow him to start?
Initially, I was concerned with the way he played, particularly when we started watching him with Dynamo 2. But obviously, he can start adapting, and I can really have a good judgment on him just yet. But I know that he will see him very soon in the Open Cup game, and that's only based on the fact that he did not play for Dynamo 2 tonight, and they're as well as other starters that usually play for Dynamo 2, and only because there's a good chance that we're gonna see them in the Open Cup game against Minnesota on Tuesday. And and yeah, I feel like they're giving him a lot of chances, and just from the past couple of games that I've seen him with the first team, I feel like he's improving a lot. But When it comes to relying on him to take over the starting spot, I feel like that's a little bit too soon. But just based on our current circumstances, I feel like it's you might have to give him a chance right away.
Well, since we don't have a sure shot starter, i.e., like we did Lundy last year, he can count on every single game. Obviously Brad Smith can't be your everyday starter, so it'd be nice just to have that second guy. So Brad Smith doesn't have to play every day, but we can count on Brad Smith, and then maybe Brad Smith can get into some form, and every game he plays well. I think if Brad Smith plays every day right now and is playing 90 minutes or getting subbed out late, that's just going to be harsh, and it's a lot of stress on your brand new knee that you've been working on. So it'd be nice to have him, or well, maybe Morano, gets a chance. We have opportunities. We just got to figure it out. I don't know if it's Gasper, but we only got two games. Like we said, we can't judge him yet if we're not going to judge Liu at the same time. So he's going to have to figure it out. Otherwise, he's going to get a red card from the fans.
Right. And a couple of highlights from my end before moving on from this game. Obviously, Thor coming in and pretty much just changed the game for Dynamo because he gets subbed in the second half at the 56th minute. Yes, for Sebas. And like Sebas at this point, like he definitely plays different compared to Thor, and you have to like have a lot of support for him at this point. But he did have like a pretty a significant game here. But a Thor comes in and he pretty much just changes the attack for the Dynamo, and not just because of that goal off the set piece, but just like right away, like he was just running, making the runs for the ball, and if and a couple opportunities outside of the set piece, like he almost buried one or two goals right away, and it just shows to him that he like how dangerous he is and how he's pretty much just contesting for the starting spot, and the main question at this point like and it's when is he going to start? Like because look, I can definitely see why he may not like start against Minnesota because it's too soon potentially, but like he's making the case to be the starter at this point.
Well, and that's where Aliyu comes in at the same time because Aliyu could play at the striker as well, and he did play at the striker on Wednesday night when he subbed in. So we know that he can be a striker because his debut was as a striker. Now, of course, Dallas he started on the wings. So if Ben's not in with Sebas, and you know Bear just obviously isn't that striker that can score. So you have Aliyu and you have Thor to choose from. We like Thor. We know we see what Thor can do. I like to say we know what Thor can do. We'd like to know that there's a lot of potential in Thor. At the same time, we just went and got a Liu, so which who can win? Who can win the race? But I like what Thor does. He's dangerous, and he's an X factor, and he's early. He's very early in his career. Like he just could just that spark, and when they hit that height, that growth spurt, it just happens. He could be something special. He's shown it even in college. He's shown it. He's got something, and he hasn't been showing that ego that he had in college. That's the great part. But he's been putting it onto the field. So Thor may be your answer right now. But let's give Aliyu a chance. Let's give Thor a chance. Let's see if Sebas can get onto the. He's had a few opportunities and still hasn't done nothing with it yet, and but I guess he's still in the basket. Baird can play out in the wing over there with Franco and with Quinones, and they can continue to rotate themselves out there. Let's figure out that striker that can score.
For sure. And I know yeah, the last highlight for sure, Steve Clark. You know already like I need to I should like keep record of how many points we're getting thanks to him, and not just because of wins, but also the fact that we're still earning a point because of his saves, and he came out pretty big in the game against FC Dallas, and particularly a play in the second half where we that FC Dallas was gonna score a goal if Steve Clark wasn't there, and like it was pretty much like a 1v1 opportunity. Like he tries to put it like in the in the upper corner towards Steve Clark, but he gets it, and the he FC Dallas get the rebound. They try to put it past Steve Clark, which they did, but um, Frank Escobar just clears it out of the goal, and not just that particular chance, but also like a few other opportunities that his experience just shows out. Like he knows where to be at the right place at the right time, and he knows where to grab the ball or just clear it away, which I just really appreciate. And I don't think Steve's getting like a lot of credit from some Dynamo fans because I do know that like the majority of people recognize that, but Steve Clark is probably one. He's one of the most important players on the team for sure.
Super Steve. Yeah, dude,
Steve.
he's Steve. He's got his own chant with us, man. But he's been something special. I think he's got 5 clean sheets already, and it's crazy how well he's been playing. He's like a rejuvenating man. I know he's on his last year of his contract, so we gotta. Well, I don't know what his plans are, and nobody's ever talked about it. And we don't need to worry about that to the end of the season, anyways, because there's nothing we can do about it right now. But it's not, maybe the summer, but Clark's the guy, and I expect him to start every single game until the end of time, and then just throw Tarble in there to give Clark a little bit of break. Not like he really needs it unless he's getting beat up again. Last year he's getting beat up pretty bad, but he's throwing his body everywhere. He's throwing his body everywhere now, but he's just not getting hurt. So it's it's fun. But I had a question for you, Foxtrot. You were on the first row right there of the supporters section. Did you? So you were closest to the action, and I had my anime sense on there towards the end of the game, on that corner kick that Thor put in. Did you sense the manifestation of deja vu coming about? It didn't occur, but it was. I sensed it. It was just close, but it didn't. So thank God for goal line technology. Because as we all remember last year, Memo and his free kick hitting the crossbar and it going down, and because there's no goal line technology, there's no way of telling if we could score because the AR wasn't you don't expect them to be right there on the goal line when that ball was placed because that's not where the defenders were. So it's a hard call to make, and nobody can make the call. They didn't call it a goal. We ended up tying that game. So crazy. And then here we are again today. We're in the same exact freaking spot because, of course, that's where we sit no matter what. So that doesn't change anything. And here we are. Thor takes that header. It hits the post. It comes back across the line. For where we're standing, it looks pretty clear that it's in, but of course we're not in a very good angle. And then the keeper saves it. I look straight at the ref. Oh no shit! I look straight at the ref.
Yeah.
Nothing, nothing, nothing. And then finally blew the whistle. And I'm like, oh! I turned and I was looking at everybody. This is the
Yeah. That was me. That was me too.
Oh
Yep.
my god! I was about to kill myself right there. I would have been like, not 2 years in a row. Oh my
Yeah.
god! Jesus Christ! But yes, thank God it crossed the line. Thor saved the day. At least got us the point, a road point as well against our rival. So uh, the start of Copa Tejas is on, and FC Dallas, and uh, Houston has a point. And I think Dallas has 3 points, and Austin has 0 points in the start of the Copa Tejas, if I'm correct. I'm not sure. FC Dallas and Austin, that one didn't count, but whatever. Who cares about it?
But yeah, it's a couple derbies already gone by. Definitely the one against FC Dallas felt pretty good, especially in the second half where Dynamo fought towards the end, which it was somewhat uncharacteristic from Dynamo the past decade, but here we are now. So it's a good turning point, I'd say. And yeah, we do have the Open Cup game against Minnesota United at the round of 16 coming up on Tuesday, and also another home game against Austin FC coming up on Saturday. So that's gonna be interesting as well.
So speaking of those opponents right there, everybody played yesterday on Saturday. There was no Sunday games, but the games that stood out to me, Philadelphia beat New England in Philadelphia. So the fight for the East is still strong up top. Cincinnati with another win. Austin at home beat Toronto 1-0. So Austin has won 2 games in a row. So are they trying to find their way and get back into the standings? Because technically they're above us in the standings again already. So we'll see. Are they back or are they just messing around and just playing games? You know. Other than that, Galaxy got their butts kicked again, so they continue to lose. And then, there's a few other exciting games. LAFC wins again to take over because Seattle lost, like you said, mentioned earlier in the episode. Seattle lost on the road to Vancouver 2-0. So LAFC won, so that means they're taking over the friggin' West Standings, which with 25 points. And I think they still got 2 games in hands too, so that makes it even easier for them to take over the West because Seattle's already got 5 losses. They're in second place with 23 points. St. Louis is second or third, Dallas fourth, San Jose fifth, Minnesota sixth, Vancouver seventh. So Austin's moving to ninth. We're in 10th with 15 points, sitting at 4-3-5, 4 wins, 3 draws, 5 losses, and uh, it looks like a 0 goal differential now. So we're just sitting there and we can't make our minds what we want to do. Kind of sucks. Yeah, go Dynamo. H is up.
It's just up. Go Dynamo, and yeah, let's talk about the dash, or at least try to.
uh, well, I mean that's what'll make this little segment quick. Uh, this is the one time I was mad I wasn't able to watch the game because obviously while we're in Dallas, the Dynamo were playing at 7:30. We were at the game live, and the Dash were back at Houston at the Shell Energy, and they were playing at 7:30. So we were going to have to miss one of the two. And of course, on an away day against a rival, you're going to that one no matter what. So sorry, Dash. Apologize. But if I was sitting at home and I wasn't going to the away day, I would have had both TVs on, would have been watching them both and just paying attention and just blah, blah, blah. But like you said, Dash were at home against San Diego Wave. Alex Morgan comes into town. The only thing is, I'm just sad I didn't get to see her. That's about all. That was a sad game that we missed. Dash lost 3-0. Started off 90 seconds into the game with a friggin' mistake. Natalie Jacobs tried to make a 40-yard back pass to the keeper that only went 15 yards, maybe 20 yards. I'm being mean right there. Only went 20 yards, and Jane Campbell had to rush out, but it wasn't rushing out full force. And Alex Morgan didn't go full force either. And so Jane Campbell just took a rip, kicked the ball, and it bounced off Alex Morgan, and it rolled 25 yards into the goal. So that's how you start the freaking game off. You know what story's about to be written. They didn't play too well. They had opportunities. They took some chances. Ordonez didn't start. She was on the bench. Ryan Garys was on the bench. I don't think Shea Groom was on the bench, even though I thought she was ready to go. So curious about that. But so 3-0, man. That was I just now at hindsight, I'm glad I didn't get to watch it live. But it sucked watching the replay though, knowing what's happening.
No, yeah, I was extremely disappointed with the dash in this game because this was their A team, and no matter like how you want to put it, like this was the A team that like what you can say about like Joel Anderson like starting. It's pretty much the A team. Like Maria Sanchez was starting, Ebony Simon was starting, Michelle Ossie was starting, like the back line was starting, and
Well,
this
obviously
was
there's
again.
key players missing. Vigiano didn't start, but Schmidt did. So Vigiano was out. It was on the bench for some reason. So they started Sophie Hurst and Joel Anderson in the midfield with Schmidt up top. They started a Lozy where typically Salmon would be because Ordonez didn't get to play yet. Ali Prysock is still missing. She didn't even make the bench again. So either she's hurt or she. I thought she was sick, but she must not be sick because she's missing too much time. So she must be hurt. So it's you're missing some key players to that first team, but what's not clicking is the style that lady is trying to get these girls to play, and it's not working for them right now. So I'm hoping it clicks. But those players that replace those players are still very versatile players and good players, and there's not much, there's not much missing there. You'd rather have the other girls, but these girls are they're just as good. Still got a lot to prove with Sophie Hurst, not so yeah, Sophie Hurst and Joella Anderson, and Natalie Jacobs just doing a great job filling in for Price Lock now that Katie Lind is back. So, but horrible game.
No, yeah, and what I was going to get to, and obviously we have like starters that are missing because of injury,
Yeah, yeah,
but at the same time, these are the best players that we have at the moment,
right, right.
and just the fact that we're only able to get one shot on goal, it's just like for me, it's horrible, and I have like standards set for them already because like they can definitely create those goals. I've seen them doing it before against Portland Thorns, where they were like in early with the setback, just pretty much like conceding early, but getting back in the game later on. I didn't see this against San Diego. I had to watch the replay because, like you said, I was watching the game live, like in Frisco, but yeah, just rewatching the game was horrible, and just looking at the stats, like it kind of set out my expectations already. But this is something that shouldn't be happening for Dash, and they still in the season. They're not like 10th place. They're not in a good shape. I will say there's still a long season ahead of them, but like it's just getting. I'm very worried about the Dash right now.
I'm very worried too, and I'm still
Yes.
a proponent of same lady, and I'm still a proponent. It's I'm good with the style. I'm good with the style of offense that he's trying to get the girls to play. Maybe he needs to bring it back down to basics a little bit because the Dash were already a good attacking team last year. They just needed to find the back of the net, and maybe that's what he needs to tune up. So this could go two ways. So the girls are not figuring out what Lady's trying to implement, or they're just missing their big opportunities that could have just made a change for the season already, and we'd be up in the top of the charts instead of the bottom. Or Lady needs just to back off a little bit and bring it back down a notch or two, and just be like, okay, girls, this is what we're going to focus on. This is what we're going to do, and then just let the girls be let their talent get the goals, and then we can just grow from there. I don't know. They're just such good players, though. They should be able to. It's hard, man. I think they'll figure out, but even with 6,000 fans at the stadium, I still would feel like it's a home environment. I'd feel good. I'd be playing extra special right there. It's hard to do it as a team, but and speak for everybody else. But we got to do something about that house and play better in the shell, and we got to figure out this game plan and this style that Lady's trying to play because the Dash are formidable, man. Come on, they've shown it. They've shown it. Tied Portland and beat Portland. Come on. So
No, yeah,
it's annoying the inconsistency.
and we're playing freaking Kansas City Current on Friday, so it's just gonna be one of those
Uh,
things that guys, please don't lose this game. I beg you, please.
I'm just glad it's there in Kansas City, so I don't have to watch it this time. I mean, watch it
I mean,
in
we're pretty good on
person.
the road.
Yes, yes, that's the bonus too. We play better on the road, and it's our friggin' rival who we need to kick their butts. So who knows what's gonna friggin' happen? Like, but oh my god, this is gonna be a fight. But we're in 10th place now, so we need to go to KC and we need to win. We need to start doing something, or at least get out of there with a draw. But we got to start playing better. I can't question the defense too much. They're gritty. They do what they need to do. I think Katie Lynn's still not 100% yet, and as far as fitness, she's 100% healthy. But as far as fitness, she's not quite back yet. We need to get Price Hawk back, and then we can worry about who's going to be playing on the edge over there, Chapman or Jacobs. Or let's let them take turns. Who cares? They can rotate out because Didasco obviously is never coming off on the right, and lady really loves her, but and she's like to get into the attack, and I like when she gets into the attack, just not when she gets exposed by friggin' grade A talent that plays on the U.S. national women's team too. At the same time, we got to make adjustments there, but it'll be interesting. Dash got to figure it out. Back to the work, back to the fields. Let's get some practice in because Casey's not gonna let us come in there and just take their money.
No, yeah, I'm expecting adjustments for sure. Like even though we're a pretty good road team, like I'm still expecting adjustments coming out of the game against San Diego, and with
Well,
that,
let's say Ryan
yeah,
Gary says it was on the bench and she actually got back into the game, so she's off of her injury. And I was going to say she better be off her injury. You know, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. So she doesn't look hurt. Okay, no,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
yeah. So glad that she's back. I was expecting Shea Groom to be back already because I thought she was listed in one game and she wasn't listed in this game. So expecting Shea Groom to be back. Um, you know, so Sophie Hurst must be doing pretty well for Vigiano to get a rest, or maybe it was just a planned rest or what. But let's figure it out. Let's get that attack going, and let's play some DTFO. But
That's right.
I guess now you want me to go through the the what do we call it? Shoot, the
And OSL
recap.
roundup,
Yeah,
the
the
recap.
roundup. Yep,
Yeah, because I'm hearing our good friend Juan Carlos Morris is having a good time with Gotham.
bro, come on, man. Our good friend. I freaking can't
Our
stand
good
him,
friend.
bro.
Those are air quotes, by the way.
Yeah, bro. I don't know what the heck's going on with this, bro. They went to Seattle, to OL Reign, and won 4-2 friggin' one. 4-1, bro. So real quick, Washington lost on the road, which is good because they don't lose. KC just lost at home to Racing Louisville, which Louisville's been looking better. So that's good that KC lost at home and we're coming in and we play well on the road. So and then Portland Thorns went and killed the friggin' Red Stars 4-0 to do their thing again. But like you said, our friend Juan Carlos, what the heck, dude? First place, 5 wins, one draw, two losses. And how bad were they last year? Horrible. I think they were last or next to last. Ridiculous. And now here they are with 16 points in the league, 1 point ahead of Portland, San Diego, and Washington, all tied for second with 15 points apiece. It's friggin' nuts, dude. It's just annoying, annoying because if Sam Lady doesn't get this together and we continue to play poorly like we are, and we're like, well, why the hell couldn't we just keep Juan Carlos? But I don't want to get there. I like Sam Lady and I trust Sam Lady. So, but yeah, that's freaking ridiculous right there. But okay, like I said, OL Reign is 5 and North Carolina 6, and that takes out your top six. Houston Dashes fall to 10th. Kansas City Current are 11th, and Chicago Red Stars are 12th. Here we are. We're all holding down the bottom three, and we're playing the Current. So if the Current beat us, we're not going to fall more than 10th because they're in that we have 9 points, and this will just give them 9 points. So we're safe in 10th place right now, but that's not good news.
Yeah, and like I said before, there's still plenty of season ahead, but I'm extremely worried and just questioning how if like adjustments are gonna be enough to turn things around at this point.
Dude, it's kind of ironic. Both teams, Dynamo and Dash, it's not problems with players. It's problem with styles right now. The Dynamo can't seem to find a friggin' goal for the life of them. They have the players that can score and know how to score, but we're not creative enough and smart enough or soccer IQ enough to be able to put our friggin' ball down the net. Obviously, the Dash have more than you expected from these players to perform, and they're not. They're very underwhelmingly performing. So, it and a lot of these players have played together. So, and they're playing well together. The Dynamo playing well together. They're just not scoring. The Dash, there's I know they're still new. They're still grooving together. Maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe that's what it is. They're just not grooving together yet. It's not the style they don't understand. It's just each other. If it's each other, then great because that won't take long. That'll just kind of happen, and then it's just going to blow up from there. And I hoping that's what it is.
No, yeah, and speaking of scoring, let's
Oh,
talk about Dynamo too, because
woo!
for the first time in a while, coming off a Dynamo 2 game, we actually feel good because Dynamo 2, if you weren't able to catch this game, they were losing 2-0 in the first 18 minutes, and they came back and tied the game 2-2 in the second half. North
First
Texas was
two
scored.
They scored six in 6 minutes. They scored that first one, but you're right, two nothing in the 18 minutes, but 6 minute mark. I'm like,
Oh yeah, yeah, they scored early, and I was like, here we go again. but but thankfully all is good because Dynamo 2 would equalize in the second half, North Texas was called the third goal towards later on in the second half, and Asieri was called the equalizer at stoppage time, literally at the death of the second half, and it felt pretty good. Not only because of that, but also because they also got the extra point in the penalty shootout. So, two big points for Dynamo two. One that's definitely gonna help their morale down the road because this was a big performance to just come in for like a big deficit like that and just get the job done.
Yeah, so y'all, our moods are set by Donna Dose every weekend. Of course, in case y'all haven't figured it out yet, we we literally the Dose final whistle blows, and then we push record and we record the Hustle Town Roundup. We record Noodle Time. We get to talk about everybody. So that's why Dose set our mood. And maybe if you heard at the beginning of the episode, the penalty kicks. It was just it was actually fun watching them because we were down. You had to have a save on the fifth penalty kick, which we got, and then we nailed our shot, and then you know it was another one after that. He just so and you ended up finishing and scoring your like those fancy penalty kickers that waste time. All you got to do is kick the ball and put it in the spot. What's all the circus show before that? You're not tricking nobody. The keeper's going to go and the keeper's going to go and he's going to pick a side left or right. You have a tell, he's going to use it. If not, he's just going. So just pick a corner, kick the friggin' ball in it, however you want to kick it, and go. The circus can stay at home. Jesus Christ! But yes, the that dose was annoying, and like you said, 2-0, 18 minutes. And I guess we should let people know that this was a very, very different lineup. It looked like some kids from the academy, some players from the academy were called up into the team to get some playing time, and some of those actually got some starts because there were some regular dose players on the bench because a lot of these names I didn't recognize. I'm like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Who's this guy? Who's this guy? It was really weird. So when we went down 2-0 in 18 minutes, I was like, oh man, these kids are just getting beat up. They're gonna get their butts kicked. This is gonna be a long friggin' show. Oh god, I wonder if Andres is ready to record right now. Let's just do it. Oh, get it over with. But yeah, then the game kind of changed, and like you said, Doe started to play better, started looking better, and started going at goal. And then it wasn't looking so easy for North Texas no more. And then, as you said, everything just started happening after that. And the goals, the 2-2, and then we give one up, and then 3-3, just to get us back. And it was 2-0. Momentum was ours. 2-2 at 2-2, and we're thought like maybe we're gonna get the third one. We're getting the third one. Like we're feeling good, we're feeling confident. It looked good, and then friggin' Dallas or North Texas come back and get theirs. Luckily, we were good enough to find our third one and put it back into to go to PKs, and we stole a point in North Texas. So that makes us 2 wins and 2 draws in our history against North Texas already. So good start.
No, yeah, and if you watch this game or at least look at the lineup, and you already mentioned this already, you're gonna notice that the lineup look different, and it's impressive considering that Dynamo two got a big result like this one on the road with mostly like a lot of non-starters for Dynamo two, and the usual names like Papa Ndoye, Diego Gonzalez, Brooklyn Reigns, they you'll notice right away that they weren't unavailable, and only because there's a good chance they're gonna be featured in the Open Cup game on Tuesday. Just going back to what we mentioned in the Dynamo conversation, but yeah, you just look at lineup, pretty much just reserves, names you don't typically see like on the lineup for Dynamo two, and like on the bench, like obviously I see Reed's there, Six Soto's there still, Paulo Rios is there, and pretty much just from there, academy players that that sporadically switch around the Dynamo two roster, and
We had the
oh yeah,
15
like it.
15-year-old get to start.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that honestly. Like I was impressed.
Rodriguez. I don't remember his first name. Sebastian Rodriguez, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 15-year-old getting a start, and he looked okay. He got winded, which means you could when you're that winded and you play 90 minutes every single game, and you're that winded with 30 minutes to go into the game. You obviously went out there and you hustled with the big boys. because I'm sure that's what it felt like for him. But he must be good enough to get that start at next pro at the age of 15. So it was okay. I like to see more of him, but we'll see if we how many more times we get to see him this year.
No, yeah, and a lot of the credit, especially for Jathan Juarez, he played pretty much just played the entire game, and he looked pretty good. And and obviously, Joey Gonzalez getting the first goal, like it was a banger, like up from the distance, like off the set piece, because he also did the receiving end of the set piece, which was just a pass towards him, because it looked like he was gonna take the free kick from long range, but he didn't. He just rolled the ball like slightly closer and just let it rip, and from like the bottom corner, like to open the scoring for Dynamo two, and and also credit to Jacob Evans, because I feel like a lot of people. Jacob Evans is like the Corey Bird of Dynamo too, which I feel like it's a little bit unfair. But Jacob Evans scoring again tonight, which was pretty good, and Isaiah Reed coming off the bench to get the tying goal at stoppage time. That was insane, because like I know Isaiah Reed is speed. He knows how to like to uh, roll the ball like in the area and find an opening, and that's what he did tonight. I was also impressed by this performance tonight for Isaiah Reed. I was hoping to see if he can like get a shot in the Open Cup, but it looks like he won't be, unfortunately. But I'm feeling much better towards him now.
Dude, you said the the guy that got the first goal on the free kick, and I say the guy because Diego Gonzalez has been the guy to me that's has been the standout guy for the season. If you want to rank the players, he's probably number one right now on your ranking for Donado's players. But it was Yair Gonzalez tonight, man, that just stood out. And when,
Yep.
especially the first 20 25 minutes when Dose wasn't playing well at all, you did see one shine, and it was that guy at left wing, and it was Yair Gonzalez. And when he was getting the ball, he was just, I like what he was doing and what he was, and the talent he was showing. Now, this is, I believe, only his second start. If it's his second start, it may have been his first start. He does come in off the bench every single game, but he finally got an opportunity to start again. Like we said, the lineup was in kind of hiatus, so maybe this was his opportunity. This was his opportunity. He showed he can do it. So I'd like to see if he can sneak into the first 11 and get him out there with Diego Gonzalez and see what let's see what the GGs can do. I don't know. We got to come up with a better nickname if they both get on the
The
field.
GGs.
Yeah, they both get on the field at the same time. I don't know. We'll let the fans name them, or but yeah, dude. And I don't know who these defenders were. Like I said, we don't know who half the friggin' team was, but once they came together and calmed down, they put their game together. They played well. It was unfortunate to give up the late goal. We made up for it. Got the penalty kicks. Ended up winning. It took like 8 friggin' penalty kicks though to get that extra point, but it was well deserved and well worth it. And side note, relevant to the game but not relevant to the game. It's crazy how they didn't blow that friggin' stadium up, and they put a soccer stadium basically inside the baseball stadium. Just knock the damn thing down and put grass up, and then you got goals and stands, and you could. But it just looks so awkward. I hate soccer inside of a baseball stadium, and
No, I thought they were gonna do something with that stadium, or at least blow it up. But I mean, if you guys aren't aware, like Chalk Dot Stadium used to be the stadium for the Texas Rangers, and after they moved to the new stadium, which it's essentially just Minute Maid Park too. Like it's been pretty sitting vacant pretty much without a like an actual tenant. Like they just turned it into like a multi-purpose stadium, which mostly just hosts like North Texas games, which is pretty weird because like you can clearly see on the broadcast it's the obviously the field looks horrible and the stands look horrible because it's a baseball stadium. So it's definitely like a lot of NYCFC um, negative vibes.
it reminds me of when like a monster truck show comes into town, and they got to
Yeah.
transform the stadium real quick and let this team come in, or let these trucks come in and do their show. Well, that's what it feels like with them. And then why the heck? Oh, come on. They're in Arlington. So, first off, FC Dallas got it wrong with Frisco. And now you're going to get it wrong with North Texas, and we're going to let them play all the way in Arlington. I hope they're practicing together at least the first team and your next pro team. Uh, I don't know because I thought everything was in Frisco. Why are you playing Whale? Shouldn't FC Dallas be in Arlington? Maybe, maybe that's the plan. It's a secret
Fort
plan.
Worth.
Yeah, or Arlington's the best spot, especially for them. Central, right next to the airport. Fort Worth to the left, Dallas to the right. Highways can get there easily, and everybody knows how to get there. It makes sense, but like I say, the people that make the dollars, they don't make sense. They don't ever. It something that just sounds so smart. No, we don't do that. That's how it works. But anyways, I don't care about them anyways. So we got a stadium downtown. It's pretty freaking cool. I like Shell Energy. So that's my home.
Right. No, yeah. If you want to also close things out with the recap for MLS Next Pro, because I do know that Colorado it's the leader in our conference now because they've been pretty good.
They've been win, 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 win. They've been doing nothing but win, bro. Nothing but win. But Austin FC hosted San Jose Earthquakes and were upset by San Jose, 1-0. So that was a good win right there for San Jose, especially in Austin. So 1-0. And then our other rivalry games, Sporting KC lost, or actually, sorry, they tied St. Louis 2-2, but ended up losing in penalty kicks 5-4 to St. Louis. So it looked like that was a good freaking game right there. And then of course us, 3-3 went on penalty kicks 6-5. And I said it took 8 penalty kicks, but both teams missed. Well, sorry, Houston missed 2 penalty kicks. Dallas missed 3 penalty kicks. So it's kind of crazy how many penalty kicks were missed, and the game wasn't decided. We had to go all the way to friggin' 8. But like you said, Colorado's jumping up over top. Waiting for my standings to load real quick. Taking a second for some friggin' reason. But like you said, Austin lost. I think Colorado, obviously, I didn't say their score, so it looked like they had a bye, or I was just missing it. But they jumped into first place in the division. And with Houston getting the extra point, that helped them because, like they're sitting down at the friggin' bottom, which is ridiculous. So, what did it do for us? Colorado up with 22 points, Austin FC with 19 points. So, Colorado must have played earlier, and I just missed the game. I don't know what the heck's going on with them. But they got 7 wins in a tie. They haven't lost. So, friggin' and they're just scoring goals. I think they have a guy that scored a goal in every single friggin' game so far. It's friggin' nuts. So obviously there's the powerhouse of the league. Austin sitting at second, and then there we are. We moved into eighth, right behind North Texas. So the North Texas has 14 points. We have 13. So a win would have been helpful to move into seventh. But okay, we'll take eighth for now. See if we can gradually just move up the ladder. And LAFC holds up the bottom of the table. And so we move on. What is it? Next week is the big one because as the Dynamo are hosting Austin on Saturday, everybody stick around and make sure you leave your plans open for Sunday. And y'all need to come out to Sabercat Stadium as we host Austin FC 2. And from what I'm hearing, there's going to be some Austin fans that are sticking around as well for that game. So they're going to try to invade Sabercat Stadium and make some noise and make it their house. So, y'all, if you're listening, pass this little part of the segment on to anybody and everybody. Talk about it on Twitter. Let people know, or just make it a point to go to this game. We need to be as loud as them and make as much noise as them. I guarantee you they're going to show up to this friggin' game. It's not far for them like it is for us. So come on with it. Make sure you show up, and if the stories, if I'm reading out of the right book and the cover's not lying to me, there's going to be a tailgate prior to the game, so it'll give you reason to get out there a little bit early and have some fun with some people.
Tailgate, you can never go wrong with that, especially at Sabercast Stadium. It hits different.
It does, dude. It's awesome. The one that we did last year for the final game of the season, it was freaking crazy. We got to pregame for a good 3 hours in the parking lot. We were chilling and it was cool because as the boys were driving up, it's not like Dynamo where they got their own secret entrance or whatever. They drive up, they drive a circle around us, and then look at the party and see what's going on. Of course, we got things decorated saying who we are, the Surge and shit. We're just chilling, we're cooking, running some tents, and they drive around and they wave and give the deuces, and then they go park their car and they walk in the stadium and get ready. It's it's cool. It's that kind of environment. It's we're out there chilling and getting ready for these boys, and they drive up and like, oh shit, they're getting lit. They're ready for us today. So I want them to feel that vibe as they walk up to the stadium this Sunday, and we're out there getting ready, and there's quite a party, and hopefully there'll be some instruments. I don't know if that's working out right now or not, but let's make some noise. Get the tickets. Go to your Dose game if you haven't been to one. This is the one to go to. Please.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. No, but yeah, guys, this is gonna be it for the episode. Definitely a lot of no dubs, unfortunately, but a lot of good performances to say the least. A couple draws there, there and there, and Dash, please win a game. I beg you. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning into this episode. I'll see you hopefully in the next road trip or whenever the next home game is. And yeah, stay noodle.
Thank you.